Newsshooter coverage of NAB 2024 is sponsored by Atomos, B&H Photo Video, and Atlas Lens Co.
I'm Eric Nason with Newsshooter.com, and we are at NAB 2024. I'm with Nick here at the Tilta booth. And hey, Nick, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Great show so far, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a big one.
It's a big one. It's a big one. Feels like normal, whatever that means. So hey, Tilta today has some new tripods.
Yeah, we do.
And they look cool, actually. They have a very industrial look to them, kind of cool. Walk me through the two heads and the two tripod systems.
Yeah. So this is the kind of biggest, most advanced one that we're premiering right now. It's the CT12 cinema tripod, 12 kilograms. That's going to handle weights up to 25 pounds. And yeah, it is a counterbalance, a couple stops of different drag resistance. It's got a 75mm bull head with legs that can support both 75 and 100mm tripod heads, meaning we have an adapter ring you can take out. So it is priced right around $1,100-1,200. So we're trying to make something that's still high-end and professional, but affordable, and something for someone who is just getting into their first larger size cinema camera can support it. I know a lot of people will plan the budget of the camera, but not always the support.
Yeah, it's really kind of sad too, because tripods are one of those things that everybody complains they're too expensive, but it is such an important tool.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, you just can't. You get something that doesn't have the stability, have the counterbalance controls like this one seems to have. What do we have here? We have up to 10 different stops of counterbalance.
Yeah.
So you should be able to dial in that heavier camera when needed.
Yeah, exactly.
And get it perfectly balanced. Another feature I noticed that's pretty great is your camera plate design is versatile. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so it is a drop-in Manfrotto plate. We're going to have a couple different adapters, but with the base kit, you do just get a kind of standard Manfrotto with quarter 20, meaning if you want to attach that to a dovetail, if you want to use one of our dovetail adapters, which are coming soon. But yeah, it means you don't have to adjust your balance every time you take the plate off. You can drop it in, click, lock. It's a lot faster when you're in a documentary situation or some situation where you need to pick up the camera and go without kind of messing around.
Yeah, and I also really like the idea of just a simple way of putting a 100mm ball head on here. That's a really nice feature.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple other little things. There is a light up LED bubble level, just something you don't really notice until you're in that situation, and then it's kind of the most important thing. And then the big thing I think with these legs, so we're going to be selling this in a few different packages, meaning if you want a different kind of leg option, you don't have to go with this one exactly, but these do have a single locking lever for every stage, which means adjusting it, you essentially do not need to do every latch individually, which can really save time, if you're a one-man band or in a...
Now, how about the spreader? Does it also, the mid spreader, it comes out a little bit more?
Yeah, so that is going to limit the height a little bit, but it's more for security since this is a heavier payload system. So the minimum height of this is just under 3 feet. I think it's like 2 3/4. And then the max is going to be right around 6, so similar to the other tripods in the line. Yeah, so the head and parts of the legs are aluminum with some steel. The main component and body of the legs are carbon fiber, so we are benefiting from some of that, strength and the lighter weight. But this is, again, more of a heavy-duty tripod, meaning as compared to something like our smaller, more full carbon fiber system, you definitely will feel the weight. And honestly, I think it's a nice middle ground because the steel version or aluminum version is going to have a little bit more heft for situations, like if you're in a studio or somewhere where you're not traveling as often. So I like to think of this as like the kind of middle ground. Yeah. So legs themselves support up to 100 pounds roughly. So they're
if I have to shoot with a 100-pound camera.
Yeah.
All right, we got another one over here. Let's move that one over here. Let's move the lightweight, versatile. This one looks like more my speed when I want to run and gun here at the NAB show.
Yeah.
What do we got?
So this is a fun one. This is going to be retailing at $7.99, and it has a payload of 8 kilograms, roughly 17 pounds. So this is kind of targeted at more of, those kind of mid-sized compact cinema cameras. But it is a completely different head and also different legs. But as I mentioned, still 75mm bull, so you could swap the two if needed. And yeah, this doesn't have the same one-touch kind of locking system, but what you get instead is a much more flexible leg, meaning you're able to get this pretty low. It goes about 6 inches off the ground at its lowest, and the carbon fiber does make it significantly lighter.
Much lighter.
Head is pretty similar. Does have that ARCA plate on the side that you were mentioning, so you can do Manfrotto and ARCA. And similar to the other one, they both have that drop-in feature, so you're able to drop your plate directly in.
And that, again, I like this idea because I do have both plates, and I'm always swapping them out depending on the camera, and just being able to not have to worry about that. Pop your camera on there, whatever you're rolling with that other day, you can put it on there right now, and it works.
Yeah.
Now this one is obviously it's lighter weight, so we have different counterbalance options.
Yeah. So I would say counterbalance is pretty expected on tripods like the CT12. However, for something smaller like this, I'd say having this 8 stages of counterbalance is somewhat unique, and I think for a lot of the kind of like more affordable systems, that isn't always something they prioritize. So you have a few less options in terms of ways to dial it in, but for cameras in that kind of weight range, it's generally more than enough to find a comfortable middle ground. And similar with the drag and resistance, it's only 3 stops of drag on the tilt. But
got a quarter 20 here on the side.
Yeah, quarter 20 is around the whole side actually. So a few mounting points if you're trying to.
Oh, they're airy accessory mounts.
Yeah.
That's perfect because we all hate that you can put an arm on here and it's not going to spin and drive you crazy, and your monitor's going to hit the legs. Yeah. Because that's a nice way to shoot. Actually, is having the monitor stationary on the tripod like that. That's really nice.
Especially if you have a big movement. That's for sure. But,
all right. Is that about a wrap there, Nick?
Yeah, I think so. So this is part of a series, meaning we do have a couple smaller and one larger system that we have yet to kind of fully unveil. There are some sneaks at NAB, so you may check out some video or pictures of it, but that will be announced in the near future. But yeah, we're definitely excited to kind of go into this relatively new sort of series for us, and I think this will complement our systems and cages very well.
Yeah. Okay. Again. Pricing for this system and pricing for the other system.
So $799 for the 8 kilogram one, and then between 11 and 12. I think it's about $1160 for the 12 kg. So.
And can people buy these today, or is it going to come out later?
They're available for pre-order starting right now, and we're running a small discount for NAB. I believe it goes a couple days after NAB, so if you want to pre-order, shipping in about 4 to 6 weeks, you can get in early and save a little bit of money.
Awesome, Nick. Have a great show. Thanks.
Thanks, you too.